We're back, day 8 of 21 days of wellness with the wellness professor, Leo Simpson II. And man, yesterday I talked about how chaos, confusion, frustration can lead to wellness. And really, I want to talk today in being a little more vulnerable about how I discovered that chaos, frustration, and confusion not only can, but should lead to wellness, right? I want to talk about. So, the other day, I came across a post from actually my sister in law shared this post and sharing some condolences about a vice president who, at a reputable university, ended up taking her life because of the stressors she was experiencing related to workplace bullying and various other things. And ultimately, what action this lady took in succumbing to that and taking her life, which, first of all, the bullying was unfortunate, but her taking her life literally is, instead of the confusion, the chaos, the frustration leading her to wellness, it actually caused her to go towards destroying herself, eliminating herself, right? And let me tell you, I understand that we deal with some very tough things in everyday life. We all deal with some tough things, right? Here's why. Because in any way that you're going to be intentional, guess what? You're going to have some disruption and distraction get in the way of it that seems to actually try to take you off course and take you down to, like, literally take you out. And so I want to share about an experience I had professionally that corresponds to how difficult not only the workplace can be, but how you can really have confusion, chaos, and frustration in your life that you didn't even bring on yourself, right? And so, in my past experience, I worked for a company, a small business that, when I started working for that company, man, I really thought I was going to be on it for about 5 to 10 years. I mean, when I tell you, I saw a trajectory for myself in this company that was going to be valuable for me, valuable for my family, valuable for the company, valuable for the customers of that company, valuable for my future career. Like, I saw a good 5 to 10 years in that company. And man, when I tell you, not only did it start out well, man, it was going well after it got started. Like, once we got some momentum, like, man, it was shifting. I was able to get into a position to where I took on a role to be able to use some of my change management skills, be able to, revamp an operation, create systematization for the strategies of a particular department. I'm talking about, man, killing the game. And then some things happened to where the priorities of the leadership shifted. And there really wasn't a conversation with me, not to say there needed to be, but that conversation that could have happened, that didn't happen, actually put me in a position to where things started shifting, and they just started shifting me. Right. And in one of these lives, these talks that I do, I want to really talk about the distinction between leadership and management, but I'm not going to talk about that today. I was being dealt with like I was a commodity. And you know how that feels if you've ever been dealt with like a commodity. Like, it's akin to being treated like a slave, right? And let me just tell you, as a descendant of slaves, but also someone who values people in general values people's unique contribution, their unlimited, unfulfilled potential, at the end of the day, to be treated like a commodity in no way, shape, form, or fashion is of any benefit. Okay. Let me just be very honest with you. And so um the reality that I found myself in was not being treated like a commodity. I really wanted to have the best attitude about my situation with that work, because I know that sometimes in your work environment, things can be tough, and it's just like a spell of difficulty that you got to navigate through. And so I tried to do that. I discovered this was not a spell of difficulty that I needed to navigate through. I discovered that the difficulty was actually designed to make me resign. Oh, yeah, you heard me rhyme. The difficulty was designed to make me resign. And you might have seen some stories like that in the environment recently, about the difficulties of an environment being designed to make a person resign. And let me tell you, I'm not saying that's right. I absolutely am not agreeing with it. Like, if you don't want somebody to be there, just tell them, right? Figure out a way to deal with it. But the truth of the matter is, I was dealing with difficulty that was designed to make me resign, and I didn't really know how to navigate that. It was new. So here's what happens. So the difficulty, when I discovered that it was designed to make me resign, I resigned, because I was like, they've clearly made it certain that they don't want me here and they really want me out. I'm like, I'm not about to fight this game. But while I made that decision, I was in a very frustrating place, because to be rejected like that without somebody coming to you directly, it could literally, if you've never dealt with this, it can literally take you out. It can cause you to check out in your mind and really believe you have no value in work, because literally somebody is attacking you like you are the plague. Come on now. They're attacking you like you are the plague. So I resigned. I even talked with people about it before I made the decision. I had some good counseling direction, and it was clear, like, you need to get out of there. It was the most toxic experience I had ever had. I resigned, and at that same time, I was in a position to where my wife was soon to deliver our second child. Now I'm on the hunt for work while trying to deal with the reality of a second child coming. Man, you talking about, it was crazy. But here's really why I bring the situation, talking about the chaos, the confusion, and the frustration. I found myself in the darkest place I've ever been in. I had no belief in anything I was capable of. I had such a toxic experience in that environment to where I questioned any value I could contribute. I questioned being a man of value to my wife and to my child and child to come. When I tell you I was deep in the depths of depression. Oh, Leo, did you go to counseling? No, I didn't. Nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to do. Did you talk to somebody? Well, I didn't. Somebody actually talked to me. Somebody talked to me because they cared so much about me and literally reached out to me. Before I talk about how that person reached out to me, I want to really deal with the fact that, again, I'm thinking about this lady who just took her life because of toxicity in the workplace. And I guess you can say to some degree, while I'm talking about how chaos, frustration, and confusion can lead to wellness, on the backside of this, kind of hear me talk about workplace wellness, right? Talk about how, or think about how the manner in which we influence our work environment has the ability to release or emit energy that can not only be toxic but be poisonous to the degree to where it can start to destroy people. Now listen to me. If you are in a toxic work environment, if you're in a work environment where it is such that it seems like it's all against you, it doesn't want you to progress, I want you to listen to me. I want you to hear me out. If you know of someone in such a work environment, share this with them. Get it in front of them, because I'm going to share with them how I walked through the chaos, the frustration and confusion of the toxicity of a work environment that I experienced and had to get out of, and how that toxicity followed me out of that work environment, and how I was able to then leverage that chaos, frustration, and confusion to lead to wellness. Okay? Listen to me carefully. Listen to me carefully. Once I got out of that environment, I had so many nights of crying, questioning what I could have done differently, questioning what I had done, like not being sure if I actually contributed to what was going on, thinking that there's something I could have done that contributed, but then when I thought about it, realized that that wasn't really the case. Like I, 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 I was so confused. I'm serious. I'm talking about many nights crying, falling asleep on the couch, waking up in the middle of the night, not sure what I could do. When I tell you I had chaos, frustration, confusion, in so many different angles, directions, and levels, it was profound. That toxicity from that work environment followed me after, again, it was designed to make me resign. I went ahead and resigned, and all of the toxicity followed me. It followed me. It followed me in my interactions with my wife. It followed me in my interactions with my daughter. It followed me in the interactions with friends. It followed me in literally making me question whether I had any worth or value. Any. And again, I say, I got this lady on my mind who just a couple of days ago I learned took her life because of very similar experience. Instead of it leading her to wellness, it led her to take herself out. Listen, your chaos, your frustration, your confusion is not designed to take you out, even though it's acting that way. I'm just here to tell you, your chaos, your frustration, your confusion, all of the perceivable, perceptive depression and anxiety and all that is not designed to take you out. It might feel like it, it might look like it, but it's not designed to take you out. But you can only know that if you have actually looked at it appropriately and leveraged it appropriately to get on the other side of it appropriately. But I'm going to get to that. I just want to really drive home this reality that when you're in a dark place of all of the potential frustrations and anxieties and depressions and burdens and disregards and the questionings and everything that goes with it with regard to dealing with toxicity, be it in a work environment or any environment, you might need to get out of it. But regardless, whether you get out of it or not, you want to make sure that you understand how you should look at your chaos, your frustration, and your confusion. Anything that any agent of foolishness, any agent of destruction has designed to make you resign from your value, you want to understand that is not going to happen, and you need to accept it that way. Like, you got to look at it from that perspective. You got to look at it from that regard. But I need you to know these things really do have the ability to take us out if we allow it to. Now, Leo, you said you were in a dark place. All right. You said it was so dark to where you wasn't sure if you were coming or going. You said it was such a dark place to where you would fall asleep on the couch, wake up, fall asleep again, not really get up to do anything of worth of value. You said, Leo, that this was so terrible to where you were dealing with the deepest, darkest depression of your life. Why are you sitting here in front of me now talking about all of that leading to wellness? Let me tell you why. It wasn't just what I did. Okay. It was to a degree. But before it was what I did, it was really what somebody else did for me. Oh, man. See, that's why I'm the wellness professor. And that's why I promote primarily as one of the thought processes, doing for others is doing for self. Yeah. If you really want to leverage a powerful perspective, leverage what I call the hidden billionaire success strategy revealed, which I put under the context of being consistent and meeting the needs of those who cannot help themselves and cannot do back for you. Somebody called me and lifted me up out of my dark place. Somebody called me and reminded me that my dark place was not a place that I had to succumb to. My dark place was a place that I could subdue. As a matter of fact, somebody called me and told me, consistent with his new work that's about to come out pretty soon, he said, Leo, you need to understand nothing is a waste. Yeah, this is difficult. Yeah, this was toxic. Yeah, it didn't work. Yeah, it was a problem. Yeah, it really made you feel like you were less than, made you feel small and everything else. Yeah, but I need you to go back and look at what everything you've done to this point says about the value, not only you've created, but the value you have to take forward. You need to leverage the past and improve upon your future, and especially leverage this moment in the present to do that. Man, if he hadn't come to me and shared that with me in this moment that I was in at one of the darkest places of my life, I could have been like that lady. I could have resigned to eliminate my existence in this life. And guess what? I wouldn't be here as the wellness professor. I wouldn't be here letting people know that doing for others is doing for self. I wouldn't be here showing people how to leverage the hidden billionaire success strategy. That this man was a billionaire, not just because he had great systems. It's because he knew how to make sure to eliminate lack by making sure to eliminate lack for others. Yeah. See, here's what happens. Our difficulties, our chaoses, and our frustrations and our confusions that come upon us seem to come upon us in order to distract us, which they do, seem to come upon us to actually deter us, which they do, to destroy us, which they do, to distract us, which they do, but ultimately they're designed to actually shift our focus from that which is of the greatest value. See, if we actually begin to shift our focus to the disruption instead of keeping our focus on our intention, guess what? We're going to resign to eliminate our value and therefore potentially eliminate ourselves. Yeah, that's what it is. But this person, my good friend, Carl Wynn Jr., who's, again, like I said, he's about to actually release his book called Nothing is a Waste, Leverage the Past, Improve the Future. The truth is, when he called me and shared with me, in so many words, it was like, I hear where you are, but I need to hear where you need to go. Right? I want you to hear what I'm about to say right now. Your chaos, your frustration, your confusion should not be your focus. Your chaos, your frustration, your confusion should not be your focus. Your wellness should be your focus. Your intention of value, your intention of your pursuit, your intention of your excellence, your intention of your wealth, your intention of your opportunity should be your focus. Oh, Leo, but aren't I supposed to give some awareness to my problem? Yes, you give awareness to your problem, but you give awareness to your problem because you understand that your problem actually has your possibilities with it. And what I really succumbed to in the moment that my good friend Carl Jr. called me and talked to me and said, listen, I need you to know nothing is a waste. You need to leverage the past and improve the future. By doing so, what I really was doing was I was amplifying that which was designed to be my adversity rather than finding myself to leverage that which came as my adversity. In other words, I was amplifying my adversity rather than seeing my adversity as my advantage. Come on now. Your adversity, I said, consistent with the quote that I got from Napoleon Hill, is every adversity brings with it the seed of an equivalent advantage. Like in your chaos, in your frustration, in your confusion is the intention that you are intending to pursue. You got to understand that when it really comes down to it, you got to think that when a problem comes, that really shows the power that is designed to be released in you. That is really designed to introduce you to the unlimited, unfulfilled potential that has been lying dormant within you. And I had no clue that that's what was really going on in my life. That's why I can be grateful. I can have gratitude for my chaos, my frustrations, and my confusions. That's why when it comes to being passionate about pursuing others, replacing chaos, frustration, and confusion in their work, their life, and their identity, you have to know that the disruption for your awareness actually comes to now help you become more dominant. It's like working out. It becomes the resistance that actually gets you to the next level. It becomes the resistance that actually positions you to grab a hold of that strength that you didn't have before. But here's what I want you to understand. How is it that chaos, frustration, and confusion actually leads to wellness? It's when you understand that it only comes because your wellness is guaranteed. If you persevere, if you have the right thought process about it. All right, here's the thing. If you're doing nothing, disruption will never come to bother you. Chaos, frustration, and confusion will never come to bother you. But when chaos, frustration, and confusion comes, it comes because what you're doing is good. Man, I remember, I remember my dad. I came to my dad one day when I was, I think I was about 21 or something like that. Man, I'm going to let my man in. I was about